Okay, so in the last video, we added in this prompt to use the right arrow key. I also just want to test. I forgot to test it the last time to make sure. So if I run this now, actually I should. Okay, it's telling me I have the wrong answer. If I go to the next screen, yeah, that prompt doesn't show up. Good, that's what I wanted. I did notice something else though, and that was if I run and then like reset or something. Oh, if I reset those redraw correctly. Oh yeah, but if you pause it and then run. Yeah, all right, so you just got to, at this point, just remember to hit reset or compile before you hit run again to start it up. Because what I want to talk about in this video, is how to, tell the user or the player of the game that they got the right one. We do have these prompts that kind of tell you, the button turns red if it's wrong, or and gives you the right answer. But I like having these. I think a little bit of text is nice to have too. So I want to stick this text where it says you picked B, Asuncion. No, the answer is C, Quito, or the correct answer is C, Quito, something like that. And I want to stick it underneath, maybe even in the middle here. So let's take a look in here. So that's also going to be part of the show question area, right? So let's see, where does that happen here? I think I like, instead of, because I already say what you picked, maybe I should just say the correct answer is. The correct answer is, and then say the correct answer. So maybe the thing to do for this one is to have an instance variable that I build here, and then use down in show question. So in other words, in show question is where I want to write this stuff, right? But it looks like I have some code in here that's not completely straightforward. I don't know if I want to, like copy all of this stuff. Oh, another thing that I could do, what I think I'll do actually, is kind of maybe just move this stuff. Wrong answer button. Oh, but then I have to. No, you know what? The logic that I need is just to get the right string here. So I want to either get one of these strings, maybe error unknown button, or you picked, you are correct, or you picked and the incorrect answer is, or the correct answer is. So maybe the way to do that, yeah, I think the way to do that is let's make an instance variable. There are a couple of ways to do it, but let's make an instance variable, private string. It's going to be a string, and I'm going to say maybe call it what's a good word? I don't know if it's response or maybe reply. Okay, and I'm gonna start it. I want to make sure when I go into my constructor here. Oh, I'll just do it here because I've been doing that every place else. I'll just make it start it as null, that there's no reply right now. Okay, and in fact, I think that's what I'm going to reiterate that down here. I'm going to say reply equals an empty string. I'm going to start it as an empty string. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right down here, I'm going to make reply be this. All right. And then I'm going to make reply be this. Now, you know what I'm going to do, since I know after if my reply starts with you picked, I know on the next line I'm going to have another line that's either going to say you're correct or the correct answer is. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to add on an end of line statement. So what'll happen is when I make this, when I add on to this, it's going to force, when I draw the string, it's going to force a carriage return at that point. So that it'll go and make 2 lines, which is what I want. I want 2 lines to draw for, you know, if you actually successfully picked something. And then for this one, it's going to be reply equals. And eventually I'm going to remove all these system.out things, but for now I'm leaving them in. It might be kind of useful for testing purposes, or just to make sure that I'm doing things right. So that's the reply. And notice I started out making the reply be nothing. So this way, if my reply turns out to be something, then you know, I can test down here to see if it's something or nothing. Now, let's see. Where do I want to put it is the next question. I'd like to put it like kind of right underneath the buttons. So let me look and see where those buttons get drawn. I have an add buttons method here. So let's see, add buttons. Okay, and notice I don't have any numbers here. I have this 5/8, but what I'm trying to do with the buttons is, you know, space them according to the size of the world. So if you change the world size, you'll change things. So that's why you see this like get height and stuff in here. You know, I think maybe the best way to do this might be, since I have my list of buttons right here, maybe what I could do is to get my X for my reply, and maybe I could call it the reply X, because that's where my reply is going to start. I could just say equals buttons get 0. That'll get me the first button, and then from that button I can, I think, get the X value. Let's see if that compiles. Oh, no, it says cannot find the symbol get X. So, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to, since this is just a list, maybe what I need to do is cast this first object in the list to button. Let's see if that does it. So now I have this list of buttons, right, which is just a list, this right here. And then I'm going to get the first one off of that. Now I know this is a list of buttons, okay, because I got all the buttons in the button class. So I'm going to grab the first one off the list. And I'm making an assumption here that the first one off the list is the one farthest to the left. We'll have to test that assumption, but so let me make that right here. Assumes buttons get 0 is the leftmost button. Okay. So I'm assuming that, but now let's see if I get that, see if that lets me. Okay, so the only thing, I did get a out of bounds error here. So the only thing is that I need to check and make sure that the button list is not empty, right? So let's start by saying, making this like 5. And then I could say, if buttons get 0, or wait, if buttons is not empty. If not buttons is empty. Okay, so if the list is empty, then there's going to be a problem. It's going to say, hey, you don't have an object 0 in here, and it's going to give me that this message that I got right here, index out of bounds exception. Okay, so it said I gave it an index of 0 when the size of my list was 0. So if you're at the point where no buttons have been added yet, then you're not going to you're not going to be able to do this right here. So now I want to, in here, I'm going to say copy and paste. So now what happens is, if there are any buttons, I'll get the leftmost one and put the X for that into the reply X. So let's see what that looks like. So that'll give me my X, right? And then to actually draw the reply, I'll use this drawstring stuff. And here what I want to do is check to see if I actually have a reply, right? So remember I said I started out with reply equal to the null string, right? So if reply is maybe the safest way to say it is if reply does not equal that. This is not the string I want to draw, right? But I just want to check and make sure. I'm going to try compiling. Maybe it's equals. Yeah, how about that? That's better. All right, so I'm going to say auto layout. All right, so now what I want to draw is, remember I stored this string, reply, right, with one of these values. So let me try drawing that. So now instead of hard coding in a string here, I'm just going to say reply. And now I got to figure out where I want to put it. So I made my reply X, right? I should have a reply Y, shouldn't I? Int reply Y equals, for now, let's start out with get height minus 20, something like that. But then if I do have a button, I'll say reply Y equals, from that button, I am going to get the Y, but I don't want to be right on top of the button, right? So to get farther down below the button, remember the bigger the number, the farther down on the screen you're going. So we're going to add to this, let's try adding 20 and see what that looks like. All right, so if I compile, if I compile, now notice there's no reply has been written yet because there isn't one. So we that's what we wanted, right? When our reply is equal to 0. And I'm going to actually, if you hold down on the Mac, if you hold down the Command key, it's probably the Control key in Windows. If you hold down that key and press K, that clears out the terminal window. So I'm going to clear out the terminal window, hit compile, hit run, and pick the wrong answer. Oh, nothing happened. So why didn't it draw? Let's see. Going in here, and where did we try to draw? And show questions, right? So we checked to see if we had a reply. And we said if there is a reply, go here. So let's see. So what we want to do is check to see, we need to check to see what our value of reply is at this point, right? So why don't we do that? It could be, or it could be that we just, that we did draw it, but we drew it, maybe this was off screen or something. So I also need to see where we're trying to draw it. So I put a breakpoint in here. And actually, maybe a better spot would be right here, because this is where I'm checking to see if the reply is 0. So at this point, I should be able to tell if my, is empty. So at this point, I should be able to tell if the reply is an empty string, or if, and I should be able to tell what these values are. So let's try running that. So when I first start up, of course, reply is an empty string. So when I first start up, I don't want it to draw anything. So I'm just going to hit continue. And that's what I expected. I didn't want anything to draw at that point. If I say run and pick an answer here, oh, this is interesting. It's not, oh, because it doesn't say show question until the next question. If I hit this, oh, now it's saying show questions. Now I've got the string reply and all that jazz. So what I need to do then, what that tells me is I had this in the wrong spot. Let's see what's going on here. No messages. Is this the one I was working with? Yeah. Oh, okay, because I've stopped again. All right, so I'm going to take that off, and then do I still have my debugger any place? Let's see if I can bring up my debugger window. Toggle document view. Restart. Is there a way to restart? Let's see. What do I have this? Looks like I'm. It looks like I killed my debugger. Set breakpoint. Compile. Toggle documentation view. Looks like I killed my debugger, and then. Oh, how about reload? What happens? Did that do it? Let's see. No. Looks like I'm still in some kind of a funky debug mode. So, well, I think if all else fails, you can always quit out, right? Let's see. Quit Greenfoot. Start up Greenfoot again. Okay, so yeah, so what we figured out was that when we are building the right string here, but if we don't call show questions right away, then we're not going to show the question. And actually, what might be better, instead of calling show questions and doing all this redrawing, is maybe do just the redrawing for that portion of the screen that has the reply on it. So we got to start on it. We'll pick up in the next video solving this problem of getting the reply up on the screen when it needs to be.